We've seen a significant increase in the number of one-day suspensions, in particular in TLDSB. I think we might be up around 200 overall from the same period last year in terms of our suspensions. We've had a number of expulsions, of course, as we have every year, because we have a Safe Schools Code of Conduct that speaks very specifically to infractions for which students are to be considered for expulsion.
Why are the numbers up so significantly, do you think?
I think there are a number of factors at play here. I think it's important for us to recognize that, first of all, we're reporting differently than we have historically. In the past, we may have simply sent a child home for an afternoon for a cooling off period, for example, when they've had a conflict or something has happened in the classroom or on the playground. Today, we don't typically do that. We record events very specifically, and in fact, we record suspensions for those same kinds of infractions that historically we may have simply worked with a parent to send a child home to, as I said earlier, cool off a little bit.
And what's contributing to the problem, do you think?
I think there are a number of factors at play. Number one, a heightened awareness of what goes on in our classrooms, on our playgrounds. We're very, very tuned into violence prevention, for example. We're very tuned into bullying issues, and of course, with the whole movement toward supporting positive mental health, we pay very close attention to those kinds of things that are happening in our schools and in our classrooms.
So do you think it's higher because you are reporting it differently, or because the behaviors are concerning?
I think it's a combination of things. Certainly the reporting has changed, but I think as we continue to work on promoting high expectations in our district, we've said very clearly to our principals, to our teachers, to our students, to our communities, that we are very supportive of raising the bar for our young people. Our young people themselves have told us this is important. We've learned over the last couple of years that they're not afraid of us having high expectations. In fact, they need us to do this. We can't ask people to have higher expectations and at the same time turn a blind eye to behaviors that don't meet those expectations. I think it's also fair to say that we've read numerous media reports over the last 2 or 3 years in particular about incidents going on in classrooms, about things happening involving staff, involving violent incidents and those kinds of things. And we are paying very, very close attention to those things, doing our very best to work with families to correct behaviors that are inappropriate.
And you mentioned some frustration with working sometimes with parents on their children when their children have been expelled or suspended. Tell me how that has factored into this.
Sure, I think we all want the best for our children. We all want to support our children the very best way that we can. But I don't think it would be a surprise to anybody to hear that we do have instances where parents are in denial sometimes, or that they don't necessarily believe the chain of events that has been reported back to them. We're asking our parents to work with us, to support us in correcting inappropriate behavior, to support us in raising the expectations that we all have of our young people. We are more than prepared and willing to work alongside moms, dads, caregivers, but we certainly can't do this by ourselves. I've yet to find a parent who has said to me, it's okay for my child's classroom to be disrupted by inappropriate behavior, such as swearing at a teacher, or such as a violent outburst of some kind. And so we want to be sure that we are managing and balancing everyone's expectations around supporting our students, supporting correction of those kinds of behaviors, and in fact putting the things in place that we need to do to make the situations right again, through things like restorative practice, for example, through things like teaching mindfulness and self-regulation in our classrooms.